Hey guys, what's up? It's Kevin for the win. We're back for another edition of Diablo 3. Today on the channel, we are taking a look at the Uliana Stratagem set armor for the monk class. A pretty solid mid-tier type of armor. So let's get into it without further ado here. Here we go. Uliana Stratagem. 2-piece bonus. Every third hit of your spirit generators applies exploding palm. 4-piece bonus. Your 7-sided strike deals 777% its total damage with each hit. While damage tick is reduced by 77% for 7 seconds after applying Exploding Palm to an enemy. The 6-piece bonus is increase the damage of your Exploding Palm by 9,000%, and your 7-sided strike detonates your Exploding Palm. So this is basically a Exploding Palm 7-sided strike set armor. That's what you're focusing on mostly here, as well as using your primary resource attack here. So we're mostly going to be using a full set of Stratagem, but as you can see here, we're also using Captain Crimson. 6,000 life per second, reduces cooldown of all skills by 20%, reduces all resource costs by 20%. 3-piece bonus, damage dealt is increased by your percentage of cooldown reduction. Damage taken is reduced by your percentage of cost reduction. So definitely need to prioritize those two things in this particular build. From here, as you can see, we have a Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, a Convention of Elements Ring, and we're also using the Shenlong Fist set. So, 2-piece bonus, damage of your spirit generators is increased by 2% for each point of spirit you have. When reaching maximum spirit, all damage is increased by 350%, but you no longer passively regenerate spirit, and 65 spirit is drained every second until you run out of spirit. That's not really a problem with this build anyway. Strong arm bracers for the bracers. For the necklace, we have Rondo's Locket. It's a placeholder for the skills. Way of the 100 Fist, Assimilation. 7-sided strike, sustained attack. We also want to run Epiphany, Desert Shroud. We want to run Dashing Strike, Blinding Speed. And we want to run Cyclone Strike, Implosion, which comes in very handy to pull enemies towards us to allow us to apply more Exploding Palm markers. Exploding Palm, Impending Doom. Okay, for the passives, Beacon of Etar, Harmony. We also want Near-Death Experience and Mythic Rhythm. In the Knights Cube, Flow of Eternity, Gundo Gear, Ring of Royal Grandeur. I would recommend these three. You really must run the first two and the ring. So I highly stress you follow this if you want the build to work exactly the way that you see it here. So keep these things in mind. Here's what my Paragon looks like. This is what the followers should probably have. Broken Crown, Flavor of Time, Nemesis Bracers, everything else that you have in this armor in terms of innate abilities is nice to have, but it's just there. Really, Broken Crown, Flavor of Time, Nemesis Bracers, the way to go. Goldskin's okay-ish. For the purposes of showcase, we're going to do a greater of 60 and a greater of 75. This will show you how the armor performs in Torment 13 and Torment 16 difficulties. Keep in mind that this is a push build, so push build armors tend to not be able to speed through greater rifts very fast, and instead are all about focus on trying to push towards the end goal of just completing the greater rift. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for a fast armor, I'll give you some suggestions in a little bit, but for now, let's get into it. So when we get into the rift, first thing you want to do is Dashing Strike into a couple enemies. You want to go Way of the 100 Fist. It will imply the Exploding Palm marker, and then from there you will activate your 7-sided strike to detonate it. Case in point here, we use your 7-sided strike and we detonate it. So your damage rotations are going to be Way of the 100 Fist, Cyclone Strike, 7-sided strike, and everything's going to implode. So you go Laver, rinse, repeat. So again, Way of the 100 Fist, Cyclone Strike, 7-sided strike, everything explodes, everything around it is going to take AoE effect damage as well. So the more enemies you have paired up, the better it will be in terms of doing the massive amounts of damage. So you have to keep that in mind. Case in point here, we'll go Way of the 100 Fist, and then pretty much everything around it will implode. So keep that in mind when your damage rotation. In terms of optimization, what should you be doing with this armor? First and foremost, because we are using Captain Crimson, it is in your benefit to get resource cost reduction 8.0% or higher wherever possible. We will take less damage because of that. Second, and probably the more important thing, is we need basically cooldown reduction 8.0% or higher wherever possible. The more cooldown reduction we have on this build, the more damage we're able to deal. The more resource cost reduction we have, the less damage that we take on this build, which all comes in tremendously handy as you're going higher up on the greater. Then from there, I recommend on your Helm 6.0% crit hit chance, On your gloves, I recommend these 3 stats. Crit hit chance 6.0%, crit hit damage 50%, attack speed at least 8.0%. Those 3 stats on your glove will mean the world of difference as to opposed to whether you can clear greater rift 10 more levels above, or if you can clear a even greater rifts maybe 20 levels above of what you should be able to do. In terms of further optimization, what should you be doing powering up on this build? First and foremost, I would say weigh the 100 fist 15% wherever possible. Then I would recommend Exploding Palm 15% wherever possible. And then I would also recommend 15% Seven-Sided Strike wherever possible. I know it's hard to get all those stats, but keep those things in mind. Then from there, obviously, because the monk class uses dexterity, you want to get dexterity at the maximum roll on all pieces of your gear. That way you have the best position to do the most damage possible. From there, because Exploding Palm, when it detonates, is AoE effect damage, I would recommend that you get area of effect 20% wherever possible on this build, just because you'll be able to hit more enemies and implode more enemies, which will work out for you more long-term than what you probably realize. It's really nice to have these quality of life things on your build just to be able to do the most. Now, in terms of further optimization, what should you be doing on this build? Obviously, you want your gear to be at least Ancient Legendary, that being the gold border gear, or Primal Ancient Legendary, that being the red border gear. Ancient Legendaries drop pretty easily. Primal Ancient Legendaries, however, you have to clear greater of 70 solo and seasonal to be able to have access for that seasonal character, that one seasonal character. If you have non-seasonal character, any non-seasonal character that has cleared a greater of 70 allows for every non-seasonal character to have access to Primal Ancient Legendaries dropping. Primal Ancient Legendary drops are less than a 2% chance to drop. Keep in mind, because they are less likely to get the drops that you want from them because of how rare they are. Even if you like go into Kanai's Cube and re-roll things and everything of the sort, you're not guaranteed to get what you want, but it's nice to have it every once in a while when you get something exactly you want. Like I was saying, though, you want your gear to be Primal Ancient Legendary or Ancient Legendary. Put it into Kanai's Cube to augment the armor with a Legendary Gem. My recommendation is at least a Legendary Gem that's level 80. Most people recommend at least between 110 to 130. The higher up the level of the gem, the more damage that you'll be able to deal with. So keep that in mind. And it's okay that if you need, like you're struggling in the lower greater rifts, to augment at level 80 or level 70. Because the best thing about Diablo III is that you can always go back and augment the armor piece again with another Legendary Gem that's a higher value, and it will overwrite whatever stats is on it. One of the other good things about Diablo III that was recently confirmed is that the Echoing Nightmare endgame that was now currently available for this season is actually going to be a regular permanent endgame addition moving forward. So it'll be a little bit easier to get higher level gems and Paragon that people need to be able to get themselves into a good position in Diablo 3. So I think it's a welcome change. I know a lot of people are complaining, but definitely it's something that you'll be able to use to your benefit in augmenting armor pieces on maybe some gear you wouldn't normally augment. So keep all these things in mind, my friends, when you are thinking about the Echoing Nightmares and how bad they are for the game and everything. So they're going to have long-term good feature for people who've been playing non-seasonal characters, because they'll be able to augment some of the less used gear that, you know, is like underperforming F-tier armor. Alright, we're getting close to the Rift Guardian here. So let's take out, again, the damage rotations. We have the 100 Fist, Cyclone Strike, Seven-Sided Strike. Everything's going to be imploding once you use the detonator. So think of basically your Way of the 100 Fists as applying markers to your bomb, and then Seven-Sided Strike is your detonator where it detonates everything. Always you want to try to implode things that are very bunched up together, because that's the most effective way of doing things. You really don't want to waste Seven-Sided Strike on a couple of enemies. You want to at least, case in point there, a little bit of a group. Alright, Rift Guardian is here. Same strategy. We're going to go Way of the 100 Fist. Then we're going to go Seven-Sided Strike. We missed here. Let's go Way of the 100 Fist. Seven-Sided Strike, and the enemy is going to implode pretty easily. And that's pretty much what you're going to do with this particular armor. Alright, let's talk to Urshi so we can level up our gem. Legendary gems I'm using in this build is Bane Stricken, Simplicity Strength, and a Goaka Swiftness. You can also swap out the Bane of Stricken for a Bane of the Trap, but I feel like because you're attacking things multiple times, Bane of Stricken is more of the way to go. Simplicity Strength, because our Way of the 100 Fists is a resource generator. We want to power that up as well. So it all kind of works in tandem together here. I'm going to level up this gem randomly. There's no real purpose outside that. I probably will use it for an augmentation further down the line. Let us go back to base. Okay. Return to town. Alright, good. Let's go. Level 60, 2 minutes and 29 second clear time. Or, correction, 5 minutes and 29 second clear time. As you can see, it's a push build, so keep that in mind. Alright, this is going to be a greater of 80. Same strategy as before, though we have to be a bit more careful and use our Epiphany this time. So here it changes up a little bit more differently. You're still going to go Way the 100 Fist, you're still going to go Cyclone Strike, and you're still going to use your 7-sided strike to be the detonator and implode every. However, because you're taking a lot of damage, this is where Epiphany comes into play. Because as you go higher up in the Great Rift, you're having a harder time trying to get back your primary resources, and you're also taking a lot of damage, you want to add Epiphany into your damage rotation. So your damage rotations then should look like Way the 100 Fist, Cyclone Strike, or actually you should do Epiphany first, then go Way of the 100 Fist, Cyclone Strike, 7-sided strike, kaboom, and keep doing that damage rotation because you need to be able to protect yourself from all the AoE effects that are coming out, which is why we have Epiphany on this particular build. You may not need it for the lower level builds, but as you're going higher up in the Great Rift, you're definitely going to want to do so. Now, as I mentioned in the previous Diablo 3 video with the Helltooth Harness build, we are getting very close to completing all the armor guides for this season of Diablo 3. We only got a couple armors left. So, after this video goes live, we have the Rothman armor, the Tragul's Avatar armor, we have the Roland armor for the Crusader, we have Talraja for the Wizard, we have for the... Then we pretty much have for the Monk, Raiment of 1,000 Storms, and we will have covered all the Witch Doctor armors. And for the Barbarian, the only one we have is, I believe, Horde of the 90 Savages, if I haven't covered it yet. So we got about 5 armors left for the season to cover before we've actually concluded our Diablo Season 26 guides. With that being said, keep in mind that Diablo 3 content then starts to slow down on the channel while we wait for the next season in Diablo 3 to go live. What I'm thinking on doing is I will probably do some Diablo 3 streams to supplement some content. So since there won't be armor guides, I might do like a short miniature Diablo 3 stream. Maybe we'll play with viewers, we'll chill, we'll relax, and everything of the sort in that retrospect. Speaking of streaming, I recently branched out into Twitch as well. I do stream Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 there from time to time. So you definitely, if you like my Diablo 3 content, should be following me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Dreadscape Gaming. We don't always play Diablo 3 and Diablo 2, mind you. We do play a wide variety of games just like we do on this channel. But that's basically the plan for Diablo 3. Now, going back to this particular armor, Helltooth Harness is not going to be one of these type of armors. Or correction. I'm sorry, not Helltooth. Uliana armor. It's not necessarily going to be an armor that's considered S tier. It's probably going to cap out somewhere around Greater Rift 125 solo, and an incapable player's hand. Capable player, they might get it to 130, 135. Also, the big problem with Uliana's Stratagem in terms of the tier list is the fact that Uliana's Stratagem does not do particularly well in Echoing Nightmare. The reason is because in Echoing Nightmare, you have waves and waves and waves of enemies attacking you back and forth and back and forth. And as you kill more enemies, there's more explosions going on and everything of the sort. And because this armor has to attack things up close and personal, it puts you at a very, very large disadvantage in Echoing Nightmares, which is why it's not higher up in the tier list. If you want a monk armor that is going to perform incredibly well in Echoing Nightmares as well as Greater Rifts of high level, my recommendation would be checking out the Ina's Mantra set armor. I have the build available in the playlist. It's a Water Ally build. That's probably the best way to go with Ina's Mantra at the time. If you don't like that type of playstyle, although I would recommend if that's the way you want to get high leaderboard placement, you go with that. Alternative is the Patterns of Justice set armor, which is also available in the playlist as well. Then, like, if you don't like either of those two, the Monkey King Garb one is alright, but anything else is pretty much bad for the monk. There's the Wave of Life build. Maybe I'll talk about that in Season 27 of Diablo. The reason I don't cover it yet is because it's not a set armor and you need specific pieces of gear. Unfortunately, I'm full on gear available on my set armor. Wave of Light's not going to overperform against the Ina's Mantra build. It's been proven this season. It's just not up to snuff, so to speak. Now, if you have a recommendation for your build or there's stuff that you want to see in terms of Diablo 3 content in the future on the channel, definitely let me know in the comment section. I do get back to everybody that leaves comments in the comment section. Sometimes it'll take me a little bit to get back to you, but I try to make sure that I get back to all my viewers, which I thank tremendously for being with me here for the last 2 years on our Diablo journey and everything of the sort. Keep in mind, I also do respond to constructive criticism. Make sure if you're giving feedback that it is constructive criticism. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. I've seen a couple of negative Nancy's as of late in regards to our Diablo 3 content. So definitely make sure if you do have opinions, thoughts, you want to share your own build, you do so in a very polite and delicate manner. Okay, we're getting close to the end of the Rift Garden here, so what we're going to do is try to find a large area of mobs. Like I said, probably you don't want to waste your 7-sided strike, particularly on 1 or 2 enemies, but in this particular situation, since we were near a gate, it's fine. Okay, so let's go. We're going to go Way of the 100 Fist, apply some charges here, if we can. Then go Cyclone Strike, 7-sided strike, pop. Keep in mind that we have to also Epiphany again. Epiphany is going to be very important here because we want to take less damage. Epiphany is also good because it will teleport you to the next attack target if the attack target dies. Okay, so there we go, 7-sided strike. We're getting close to the Rift Guardian. Let's go Cyclone Strike to pull them in. Then we'll go 7-sided strike to implode. Remember, think of it as Way of the 100 Fists is applying the marker to the bomb, and then your 7-sided strike is the detonator for it. Now, the Rift Guardian is going to be a little bit of a challenge because that's where, again, Uliana Stratagem starts to lose focus on some of its power, per se. We're going to get that Rift Guard very soon here. Pretty much 1 or 2 more damage rotations of this, and we should be good. It's a big area. Like, as you're going higher up in the Greater, it's very important, as you see here, to bunch all the enemies together to be able to do maximum amount of damage. Alright, so Rift Guardian, what we're going to do is we're going to go Epiphany first and foremost. We're going to go Way of the 100 Fists, Way of the 100 Fists, 7-sided strike, Way of the 100 Fists, and we'll 7-sided strike again, and we'll pop. The reason we're able to do this is because of Bane Stricken, as well as the Gorak of Swiftness, as well as the Bane of the Trap. If we didn't have those 3 things here, we would not, or correction, Simplicity Strength, not Bane of Trap, we would not be able to do as well as we did in this particular Greater Rift. This was a Greater Rift 80 for those who were wondering. Let's go back to base. Alright. Not bad. Let's check the level. Okay, so level 80, Greater Rift, Torment 16 plus difficulty. 6-minute and 17-second clear time. Like I said, push build, pretty decent armor, mid-tier at best at the moment. There's better options, but if you're looking for something different, definitely check it out. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's Diablo 3 video. As always, a like on this video is greatly appreciated. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, definitely consider doing so, as it helps the channel grow. And I will see you for the next Diablo 3 video. Till next time, guys.